The program is Focus. Today, we're fortunate to have back Andy Fecko, who's the general manager of the Placer County Water Agency. Nice to have you, Andy. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Barry. Nice to be here, as usual.
Andy, the reason I asked you to join us is that you recently made an announcement that the water company is going to have to go through some rate increases. And it was pretty well explained out how it worked and so on, but I had some questions for you.
Perfect.
So let me start. First of all, what is the process that you have to go through to, in fact, do a rate increase? You don't just send out a letter, do you?
That's right. That's right. We got it's actually a fairly involved process, Barry. We do this about every 5 years. Has kind of been our pattern, or as our costs increase. And boy, that's the case here. We're in that 5-year cycle, and our costs have gone up tremendously. But what we generally start with is a cost of service study. What does it cost us to deliver clean water to people's homes all throughout Placer County? And we do that by looking at our infrastructure that we have in the ground. Reminder, 600 miles of pipe, 180 miles of canal, multiple water treatment plants from all the way from Alta down to Rockland and Lincoln. And all that stuff costs money to operate and maintain. And so we engage our own staff and a consultant, and we look at what we've got in the ground and what we have to replace over the next 5 years to keep the community's water system reliable. That's our goal.
Now, your day-to-day operations, basically, I'm sure, is staff, which is normally the number one case. But you have a lot of other things that need to be maintained, right?
Exactly. Just to what we call renewal and replacement. In other words, keeping the pipes that are in the ground and those treatment plants operational is the largest part of our budget right there. And we've been spending between about $10 and $11 million a year, sort of the last decade, maintaining that, which means replacing pipes that are old. I'm looking out at the street where we are here in Auburn, and I know for a fact that there are pipes here in town that are 90 years old, 90, which is amazing, right, that they've lasted that long, but we got to replace those. And so what our consultant said to us is that really we need to be spending more like $17 million a year instead of 10 if we're going to keep up with replacing the stuff that we've got in the ground.
Now, how do you deal with things like we're all suffering now? The price of bread has gone crazy. I'm assuming that the price of pipe is going up.
It's amazing, Barry, and we are all suffering. We're really sensitive to that, and we're trying really hard to keep our costs low. And so you mentioned our staffing. So we've been really making a shift lately. Outside contractors have become very, very expensive. So we've been using our own staff, and that's actually cheaper for us to do, which is great. But the cost of materials, I got a sheet in front of me here. Just in the last 5 years, the cost of steel has been up almost 60%. Cost of cement, 40%. Lumber, 80%. I know our listeners have probably experienced that. They go to Home Depot and a sheet of plywood is $75. Well, that's the material we need to maintain the community's water system. And so it's critical that we are able to buy that stuff, install it, put it in the ground at the least cost possible, but we're subject to all that same inflation. And as we all know, it's just been horrible. Our overall material cost for operating our system is up 61% in the last 5 years, and our rates have only climbed really about 12%. And so we're behind. We're trying to catch up, which is the reason for our most recent notice and rate increase.
How is it now going to happen? This isn't just a one-time thing. I think I read it was going to go over a period of time. So you'll be readdressing rate increase every year?
Exactly. So what we've laid out is a program. What we didn't want to do is do one time, 40-something%. We think that's just, our board believes that that's just way too much for people to handle. And so what our board said was, we know what we need. We need to get from $10 million to $17 million of renewal and replacement. Let's do that over a period of time. So they've chosen 5 years, our board of directors has chosen 5 years, and we're doing somewhere between 8 and 6% every year for those 5 years to incrementally get it up to where we need to be. And that accounts for inflation and everything else. Let me say this, if inflation comes back down to normal, material costs sink a little bit, our board in any one of those years doesn't have to do that full amount. They can do something less. And that's their commitment to the public, is they're going to look at this every year as part of our budgeting. And if we don't need the money, we won't ask for a rate increase that year.
Andy, I want to change the subject.
Go ahead.
we're in a drought, and it looks like more of a drought, and now we see that our governor is at a point of where he's going to start issuing some orders. Do I get it right? He is basically putting the water cop job down on you guys.
Yeah, the state government's done that on a number of occasions with the last governor, and now here we are with this governor. Yeah, so we don't like that role. What we like to do is work with our customers to be as efficient as possible, and that's what you're going to see from the agency as we go through this summer. Governors has ordered us to go to stage 2 of our drought contingency plan. We have enough water for our customers. I want to make that clear. The governor's ordered us to do something. We'd have to pay hefty fines if we didn't do it, and we'd have to pass those on, and that means even higher rates. So we're going to do our best to comply. We're going to do it in a voluntary way with our customers. You'll see a lot of advertisements from us. You'll see a lot of programs from us about water efficiency. Tuning up your landscaping, your sprinklers, your irrigation system. We have tons of rebates available for that stuff this summer, so that if people want to get their water use down a little bit, they can do so. In fact, we've got a program coming this summer, Barry, that if you're a raw water customer, the irrigation ditches we have throughout the county. We have 4,400 irrigation customers. If they don't need as much water this summer, they can call us and temporarily suspend some of their service. Like maybe they get 2 minors inches and they only need 1. We'll hold that one. They can get it back next year. But for now, they can save money this summer and save water by calling us. So yeah, 823-4850. That's the number that you call for the agency, and that'll get you any of our services.
That's area code 530.
530-823-4850.
Andy Fecko, ladies and gentlemen, the GM of the Placer County Water. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.
Program is Focus.